What if I told you that there is one number, just one percentage, that decides whether you retire at 35 or you retire at 65? Not your salary, not your job title, not even how much you earn, just one number, and almost nobody talks about it. This is Knox, and on this channel we automate our way to financial freedom. Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because this video is going to show you the exact savings rate that separates early retirees from everyone else, and once you hear this number, you will never look at your paycheck the same way again. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly where you stand and exactly what to change. Let's start with a question. If two people earn the exact same salary, same job, same city, same cost of living, why does one of them retire at 40 and the other one is still working at 65? The answer is not luck. It is not investing skill. It is not even about picking the perfect stock. It comes down to one single variable, their savings rate. Your savings rate is simply the percentage of your take-home income that you save and invest, instead of spending. And here is the wild part. This one number is mathematically more powerful than your income, your investment returns, or almost anything else in your financial life. Let me prove it to you. Let's talk about the number that changes everything. 50%. 50% is the tipping point. It is the line in the sand between I will retire eventually, maybe, and I will retire decades before everyone else. Let me show you why. Imagine someone saves just 10% of their income, using standard retirement math. Assuming a modest real return on investments, it would take that person roughly 51 years to reach financial independence. 51 years. That is basically an entire working lifetime, and then some. Now let's bump that up. If someone saves 25% of their income, the timeline drops dramatically down to around 32 years. Better, but still, that is most of a career. Now here is where it gets interesting. At a 50% savings rate, the time to financial independence drops to around 17 years. Let that sink in. Just by moving from 25% to 50%, you do not cut your timeline in half, you cut it by nearly half again. The relationship is not a straight line. It curves, and it curves hard. Once you cross that 50% mark, push it further. At a 65% savings rate, you are looking at roughly 10 to 11 years to financial independence. And at 75%, some early retirees have done it in as little as 8 to 9 years. Same career length as a college degree, except at the end of it, you never have to work again unless you want to. So why does 50% act like a switch instead of a slope? Here is the math behind it, in plain English. Your time to retirement depends on the relationship between what you save and what you spend, because those two numbers together determine your multiplier, how many years of expenses you need saved up before your investments can support you forever. This is often called the 25 times rule, based on a 4% safe withdrawal rate. Here is the key insight most people miss. Every extra dollar you save does two things at once. First, it adds to your investment pile. Second, and this is the part everyone forgets, it reduces your future expenses because you are not spending that dollar. So a higher savings rate attacks the problem from both directions at the same time. You are building your nest egg faster, and you are shrinking the size of the nest egg you actually need. That double effect is why the curve bends so sharply around the 50% mark. Let's make this real with an example. Say Sarah earns $6,000 a month after tax. At a 10% savings rate, she saves $600 and spends $5,400. To retire, she would need roughly $1.6 million invested, using the 25 times rule on her $5,400 monthly spending. At $600 a month in savings, growing with the market, that takes decades. Now flip it. Sarah saves 50% instead. She saves $3,000 a month and spends $3,000 a month. Suddenly, she only needs about $900,000 invested to cover her lifestyle forever, not $1.6 million, and she is saving 5 times more per month to get there. Lower target, higher contribution. That combination is what creates the 17-year timeline instead of the 51-year timeline. This is exactly why income alone does not determine when you retire. Plenty of high earners save 10 or 15% and stay on the 51-year plan without even realizing it, because their spending rises right along with their raises. Meanwhile, someone earning half as much but saving 50% or more quietly builds financial independence years, sometimes decades, faster. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. 50% sounds impossible. And look, for most households living paycheck to paycheck, jumping straight to 50% overnight is not realistic, and that is okay. This is not about flipping a switch tomorrow. It is about understanding the target and moving toward it deliberately. Here is how early retirees actually get there in 3 practical moves. Move number 1. Automate your savings rate before you see the money. If a percentage of your paycheck never touches your checking account, you cannot spend what you never see. This is the single most powerful behavioral hack in personal finance, and it is exactly why automation is the foundation of everything we talk about on this channel. Move number 2. Attack your biggest expenses first, not your smallest ones. Cutting out coffee will not move your savings rate. Renegotiating your housing, your car payment, or your biggest recurring bill can move it by 10 or 20 percentage points in one decision. The math rewards big swings, not tiny sacrifices. Move number 3. Every time your income goes up, keep your spending flat and automate the raise straight into investments. This is often called saving your raises, and it is how people go from a 20% savings rate to a 50% savings rate within just a few years without ever feeling like they are cutting back. Let's zoom out for a second, because there is something important hiding inside this whole conversation. The reason 50% works as a psychological marker, not just a mathematical one, is that it forces a mindset shift. Below 50%, you are still living a normal lifestyle with some savings on the side. Above 50%, saving becomes the priority, and spending becomes what is left over. That mental flip, treating savings as the main event instead of an afterthought, is the real separator between early retirees and everyone else. The percentage is just the visible symptom of that deeper shift in priorities. And here is something most people never consider. Your savings rate is the only number in this entire equation that you have almost complete control over. You cannot control the stock market's average return. You cannot control inflation. You cannot control a recession. But you can control what percentage of your income you choose to save this month, and next month, and the month after that. That is why financially independent people obsess over this one number, instead of chasing the perfect investment or the next hot stock tip. So where should you actually aim? If you want a rough target, here is a simple framework based on everything we just covered. If you are saving under 15%, you are on a traditional retirement timeline, somewhere around age 65. Between 25 and 35%, you are looking at a 25 to 30-year path, which could mean retiring in your 50s. Cross into the 40 to 50% range, and you are looking at somewhere between 15 and 20 years. And once you break past 50%, every additional 5 or 10 points shaves years, not months, off your timeline. The goal is not to panic if you are not there yet. The goal is to know exactly which zone you are in right now, and to make one deliberate move this month to shift into the next zone up. So let's bring it all together. The exact number that separates early retirees from everyone else is 50%. Not because it is a magic number, but because it is the point where the math bends in your favor twice at once. You save more and you need less. That is the whole secret hiding in plain sight. You do not need a 6-figure income to retire early. You do not need to win in the stock market. You need to know your number, and you need to move it, one automated dollar at a time. If this video gave you a new way to look at your own savings rate, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop your current savings rate in the comments below. I read every single one. This is Knox, and I will see you in the next video.